What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Y'all hit that like button, hit the subscribe button ASAP. So let's get into some NFL football news. So Sean Payton, head coach, the new head coach of the Denver Broncos, has come out and said that he's spoken out against his starting quarterback, Mr. Russell Wilson, right? Russell Wilson is the guy that gave he was given the keys to the franchise last season and had a horrendous season last year. Played terrible. That's the worst I've ever seen Russell Wilson play. Right? And so Russ has to bounce back this season. Everybody knows it on the team. The coaches know it. NFL fans know it. Media members know it. Everybody does, right? And so Sean Payton shared that he talked to Russell Wilson during a team meeting and told him he needs to focus less on Russell Inc., right? Focus less on you as a celebrity, you as a business, you as a mogul, so on and so forth, whatever you got going on. And he told him, will you freaking stop kissing all the babies? You're not running for office. Told that man, will you freaking stop kissing all the babies? You're not running for public office. Now, this could be taken two ways. He could be saying, hey, stop trying to shake hands and kiss babies. You're not the president. Just be more relaxed. Be more buttoned down. Stop trying to be super buttoned up all the time. You know what I mean? Stop trying to come across as being a people pleaser, a goody two-shoes, so on and so forth. Or I'm thinking, does he think, and I could be interpreting this like this. Russell is always with his kids on social media, kissing and loving on them and so on and so forth. And he may not mean, I don't think he means stop kissing on your children, but stop trying to come across as this you're just the ultimate good guy, the goodest guy in the world, so on and so forth, right? But he told them this in front of his team, in front of his teammates in a team meeting. Stop freaking kissing all the babies. You're not running for office. All this and all that. Stop kissing all the babies. Letting Russell Wilson know he think Russ is basically living a fake life. Like his image is a facade. Like this is something just made up. Like Russell is putting on an act or he's putting on a performance for the public. Right? And when he's saying that to Russell Wilson, when I heard it, he told Russell Wilson it's clear. Sean Payton don't like Russell Wilson, the player or the person. Okay? And see, I've criticized Russ for trying, because he became a celebrity when he started dating Ciara and when he ultimately married her and started this great family with her, right? He's a great family man, a great husband, great father, so on and so forth. And a lot of black women started to champion him, especially due to the fact that Russell was a great guy and Ciara left a guy who was about all the toxicity in Future, and she got with an upstanding black man with great morals, principles, and values that chose to marry her. Chose to start a great family with her. That chose to love her other son from her previous relationship like his own son. And just have a great, beautiful black family, right? And a lot of women love that, right? And I feel them for loving it. That's a great, admirable thing, for sure. And I'm all for the black family unit being strong and being together. I didn't like the part because he became a celebrity. I feel like Russ was really interested in being that celebrity. He was trying to live in it and thrive in it, right? I felt like at times he was really trying to be a celebrity on par with Ciara in that, like, the not a football celebrity, but I don't know, a shade room, black media celebrity, ultimate, like this ultimate celebrity of highest proportion, somebody that would be on all the award shows, not even just black media, world media celebrity. Right, and I think he's going about that the wrong way, because and I saw that when I heard he had his own office with the team. He had his own office within the facility, and he was away from the other players. He got all these different parking spaces, at the stadium, all this and all that. He had all these special privileges. And I said, you know what? I think that celebrity is starting to kind of get someone where he feel like he got to be, away from the team, separated, and he get all these perks and privileges that other people don't get. And I didn't like that. And I said, you know what? He needs to just, focus on the ball for sure. But to tell him, will you stop freaking kissing all the babies? You're not running for public office. You're insinuating that he's fake. That this whole image is a facade. He's playing goody two-shoes. And he's trying to just get people to really, really like him. And you know what, y'all? I saw this and I say, did it ever occur to people that maybe that's just Russell Wilson? Maybe that is just who Russ really is. He's never shown us anything different than that. So how can we not feel like that's not really him? Emmanuel Acho on the show Speak, right? With LaShawn McCoy, What's her girl name, man? Golly, what's her fan girl name? Joy Taylor, James Jones, I believe. And Emmanuel Acho was like, basically before the draft, they were going to, I forgot where they were at. And Russell Wilson, it was somewhere everybody had on sweats. And Russell Wilson had on a suit and he was buttoned up and all that. And he's like, who's this guy in a suit? Because Russell wasn't as heralded coming out of college, right? And I think that's really who Russell is, man. People think he's going to, like, he's putting on a fake image. To get a better understanding of who Russell Wilson is, you got to know his family background. Russ comes from a family of prestigious educators and lawyers, right? He was raised in a two-parent household with a family who raised him on morals, principles, and values. And he often credits his father for teaching him how to conduct himself in the public eye, right? Like, you can think that Russ has to let go of special perks and privileges that he had, and I agree with that, right? But to act like him being a straight arrow, button-up guy is detrimental to his career or is harming his team is crazy. That's crazy to me, man. This is the thing that killed me. Because if he was like the walking stereotype of a black athlete, nobody would question his authenticity. If he was like a walking stereotype, dude that smoke weed all the time, got 5, 6 baby mamas, you know, that just getting into trouble, cussing everybody out. Every other word is motherfucker and bitch and all that. People would never question the authenticity from it, right? And especially if Russ dressed like an inner city dude. But I really think that this is really who Russ is, and I don't think it's harming the team that a straight and arrow button-up guy is who he really is. Russell Wilson is really Carlton Banks from the Fresh Prince. That's him. You see it in how he talks, how he carries himself, and I'm not making fun of Russ when I say this. This is my simple observation. He doesn't have the swagger of an inner city black man, right? He not going to be cussing and yelling and motherfucker and all that. That's not him. He not gonna have the swag of Will Smith when he was the Fresh Prince. That's not him. He's something different, man. You can see how he carried himself even before he got with Sierra. He was even different before he got with Sierra. He was even more straight-laced and really G. Willikers. You know? Oh gosh, G. Willikers. That was really him. You can see it, man. And you can see it, and I'm not trying to be funny. You can see it in even who he appealed to. Like, as far as the opposite sex. His whole appeal was appealing to a lot of the different, the button-up black guy that was esteemed. It was appealing to other races of women. In particular, Caucasian women, right? But I really not trying to make fun of his preference or whatever. Or, I don't even know. I mean, he's married to a black woman now. I got kids with a black woman, so whatever. But I really think that's who Russ really is, and people are having a hard time really accepting that is really him. You know what I mean? This is really who he is, man. I don't think it's a fake. I don't think he's phony or nothing like that, man. And I'm like, what's wrong with a black man being clean cut and being a family dude? That's really who he is, man. And like, people just want him to. They're not used to a guy who is as clean cut like that in athletics. They're used to the ultra aggressive guy, right? That's always super mad and super pissed off and stuff don't go his way. And I'm like, well, it's just showing me that Russ has control over his emotions completely. And I say that because Shady McCoy was like, Russ is always trying to be perfect, trying to be a people pleaser. I'm looking at my notes that I took, right? Sorry if I'm looking down. But yeah, he's trying to be perfect, trying to be a people pleaser. You never hear him curse or you never hear him snap. When he throws the interception, look at guys like Payton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. They get pissed when they throw interceptions. You hear him cursing, all of that. And I mean, I'm like, well, why is it a problem that Russ has control over his emotions completely? It's just not him, man. I don't think that's anything wrong with being there. That's really an attack on his character. Like, you really calling him a fake or phony. And I'm like, nah, man, this is really who he is. And people just have a hard time accepting that. You know what I mean? And again, I always say this, man. If dude was something different, it wouldn't be an issue because, and I'm going to say this too, this is wrong with society in general. We always, when somebody is completely different from the norm, we think it's just unfathomable that this is who they are, and we try to force them to change to be what we're used to change to be something that we can recognize, that we can relate to, so on and so forth. And guys can be relatable to teammates in other ways they can be buttoned up and still be relatable. Tom Brady, now, man, a lot of them dudes, a lot of them quarterbacks, and a lot of them players in the locker room can be square guys, but they still can be relatable. And yes, you can say he can be more relatable, But I really think to say, oh, stop kissing all the damn babies, that's who he is for real, man. And I think to act like that's killing the team play, no. Russ just played bad. And also the camaraderie amongst the teammates was not where it needed to be because he was separate, and I think he let the celebrity part of him feel like, oh, he deserved those privileges to have his own office in the facility, have all these parking spaces, way more than anybody else had. And he played like a dude who is really a average quarterback. At times, even below average at times last season, right? So you got to up the play for sure. But to act like him being a family man is just detrimental to everything going on within the Denver Broncos organization, that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me, man. And like, for real, people think when you be in a certain way, like, and I can speak to this. As a black man from Chicago, Illinois, right? I always tried to carry myself in an esteemed fashion at times because I knew my little cousins and stuff was watching me. My little brother was watching me, right? And I didn't want, especially in the wild environments that we grew up in, everybody smoking. Not everybody. Let me stop being like, because Chicago is a beautiful city with beautiful, amazing people, and I wouldn't want to be from anywhere else. I learned a lot about life, a lot about being a leader, a lot about being a man, a lot about standing on my morals, principles, and values and sticking to my guns in Chicago, right? But yeah, man, like it was crazy stuff going on, and you could see craziness and undisciplined young men at every turn, right? And so I wanted to be the opposite of that for my younger cousins and my little brother and them, right? And so yeah, I could cuss just like everybody else could, but you know what? I'm like, nah, I'm really not. I'm gonna try to carry myself in a certain type of fashion, a certain type of way. Right now, I can curse, as y'all can see on this channel, right? And I'm being silly, but even when I curse and stuff like that, people be like, oh, because I'm not wild and I'm not super obnoxious, super wild and crazy. I don't smoke, I don't drink. Oh, man, you got to be more, you got to just, man, be more lax and be more whatever. Bro, this is me. You hear me? This is me, shorty. Like, I got the swagger of an inner city black man because I was in Chicago on the south side all my life, right? But I ain't trying to be something different to try to fit in with other people. You know, people had a hard time. People thinking I wasn't from Chicago for real because I wasn't carrying myself how some of the other shorties was from Chicago that went out to school, right? That went out to college with us. A lot of boys was playing like they was tough, like they was big game bangers and stuff in Chicago. They knew they couldn't do that shit when they came home to Chicago. Acting like something that they wasn't at school. Had people from the far suburbs claiming Chicago, acting like they was super tough, throwing up gang signs in the clubs and the parties, shaking up all type of gang shit, knowing they wasn't on a crumb when they came home. They wasn't on none of that gang shit when they came home because they knew they was going to get their head bust. And folks then was going to chase them up the street, right? So when they saw me, it was like, oh, you know, you can't be from Chicago. What are you talking about? I'm more Chicago than anybody up in this building. You hear me? And you can pinpoint me at certain locations throughout the city at certain times of my life, and you know I'm from Chicago. From the elementary school I went to the high school I went to the neighborhoods I lived in, to the corner stores I used to go to where my grandmama stayed, both of my grandmama stayed, to where my uncles and them stayed, from where my auntie and them stayed, to where my daddy stayed, to where my mama stayed, you feel me? To where my brother stayed, all my oldest brother stayed. So yeah, man, like it's just, and people would think, at times because I wasn't, you know, I wasn't wild and super crazy and obnoxious. Oh, maybe you, like I wasn't trying to be, like I wasn't being myself. You got to be more lax. That's who I am for. I don't want to smoke and drink like everybody else. I ain't trying to follow what y'all doing over here. I'm going to be me. I ain't trying to run up behind y'all. Right? I'm going to do me, and people going to respect me and love me for me. Now I'm a lot more button down than Russell Wilson, right? But I'm just trying to compare the things. Like, that's who I really was, who I really am. I'm not a dude that's going to be out here trying to be ultra tough as hell. I'll smile a whole lot. I'm not trying to be overly aggressive. You feel me? And people think, oh, you trying to be a certain type of way. Cause are you religious? Are you trying to be away from religion? Bro, this me. Even before trying to set example for my cousins, I always been this dude. I never wanted to be a street dude. Never in my life. I never wanted to be wild. I never wanted to go to jail. I never wanted to smoke. I never wanted to drink. I never wanted to gang bang. None of that shit. And I was in the heart of it all. So what I'm saying is that, you know, like, Russ could really, that's really who Russ is, man. It's not fake, it's not phony. And to act like it's just something like, oh, you being a goody two shoes, you trying to be Mr. Perfect and all that, like it's hurting like it's hurting the team. Like, no, you can still be relatable and be of the fray, even if you don't do what other people do. I've seen it plenty of times in my life. So yeah, you could say, oh, you need more better camaraderie with your teammates, but to act like, oh, you trying to be kissing babies, you trying to run for public office. Shit, I wouldn't be surprised if Russell Wilson really did run for public office when he finished playing. But I really think that's who dude is, man. And like, again, if he was a dude that had 8, 7, 8, 9 baby mamas, throwing money in a strip club every weekend, if he was getting locked up in his spare time, if he was out here cussing and motherfucking every other word, if he was out here cussing, getting into it with teammates, fighting and shit, if he was out here, again, had, dating all type of different porn stars and models and shit, nobody would think it was crazy. Oh, that's what an athlete does. That's what an athlete does. But when you see a dude who's the complete opposite, it's crazy to people, right? And Joy Taylor made a great point. When you see white quarterbacks, nobody expects for them to be swaggy. Nobody expects for them to be the culture of cool. Nobody. But when it's a black quarterback, they gotta be Cam Newton. They gotta be Mike Vick. They got to be Deshaun Watson. They got to be ultra swagged out. They got to be super, super cool as hell. They got to be ultra fly. They got to be the culture. Like, everybody is different, man. And black people are not monolithic. And that's what I learned in my lifetime growing up. Cool does not look one way. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, man, I just think that it sounded real personal. And then Russell this type of shit right here, trying to say, would you stop freaking kissing all the babies? You're not running for office and all that, calling them out in front of the team. That really feel like you saying, I don't rock with you like that. You not my guy. The moment you play bad, your ass is done. You on the bench. That's what it sounds like Sean Payton is relaying to him. And at that point, Russell Wilson probably looking at him like, I don't fuck with him. Shit, Russ might cuss his ass out and be more unbuttoned after this. He say something else crazy. But what's wild is that Russell is on a short leash. Sean Payton's leash is much longer than Russell Wilson. So Russ do that and he ain't playing well. Oh my God, they're gonna get Russ up out of there. And Sean Payton know that. But to act like, oh, he's fake, he's phony. Russ really is. That's who he is for real, man. In all accounts, people have always said that's who he is. And ain't nothing wrong with that, man. He ain't got to be up now cussing everywhere for you to feel him and feel like he being authentic and true. Long as he ain't trying to act like he's above the fray and he don't want to be around everybody else. And that's why I said that whole having an office shit got to stop. But to act like he just doing something so vile and heinous because he is buttoned up, he's a buttoned up type of guy, that's crazy. Machiavelli Mills TV, I'm out. Peace.